Hi, I'm George Nordhaus, and welcome to Monday morning. Are you getting scared because Geico spent all those billions and everybody else? Well, we all are because commoditization is taking over because of the guys with the money, and boy, how do we compete with them? And it's really, really tough. And so I've been thinking, how could I tell the story of best of agencies like you who are listening, who really can compete because they communicate, but they communicate on a local level so well. And I thought immediately, of course, of Bryan Insurance Agency. We've been working with them, agencies online, as for like 8 years or something, and they've been so terrific with us. And then I thought, who will I get? And of course, Sonya came to mind, Sonya Edwards, and the reason she did is she and I work together on a lot of different stuff now. Let me show you her picture, and let me tell you about Sonya. Okay, let's change the slide to Sonya. Sonya is a CIC, of course. What is ACSR? I know, but you tell them out, Sonya.
It is accredited customer service representative, which is a designated from IIAT,
Okay.
Independent Insurance Agents of Texas.
I got you. Yeah, and she's very active. In fact, she just got back from the Joe Vincent seminar, and we talked about that this morning. Graham, Texas is not a big area. How big? How many people around
We
there?
have about 8,000 people in Graham.
8,000.
Yes, 8,000
Yeah,
people.
but you guys sell all over there. I know that though.
Yes, we do. Yep.
And I know that the National Alliance has honored you, and I talked to you for the CSR in Texas, and it was my privilege to say good things about you. I hope it didn't hurt you. Boy, you got elected. It couldn't hurt you too much. And she's a board member at Applied. She's been an advisory board and Friday, and she's a chair of the Account Managers Advisory Council in Texas. That ain't all bad. No, but what she's been doing is amazing. But also, she really, I guess the words communicate. You communicate. I think that's why you and I get along so well, Stephanie, don't you? Sonia,
Yes, yes,
Stephanie,
I agree. Yes.
Sonia, yeah, my next door neighbor, Stephanie. That's not too good. Well, now let's talk about advertising. How in the heck do you Let me ask something else. How big is agency? How many people do you have roughly?
We have about 20. We have 25 employees,
Yeah, okay.
and like you said, we aren't just in Graham. I mean, our only location is in Graham, but we write business all over Texas and even other states.
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know. I just
Yeah.
thought you were in Texas. All right. Well,
Yep.
how do you compete with these guys? Let's look at something we've
Well,
all
yeah.
seen before. Oh, who's
I
that?
mean, who would have ever thought that insurance advertising would be a part of pop culture the way it is now?
No, I wouldn't
I
have.
mean, yeah, insurance advertising used to be boring. If it existed at all, it was boring, and now we have, everything from Jake from State Farm to Flo to the Geico Gecko and all the
The-
funny ads and people repeating them all the time. It's just impossible, or it seems like it would be impossible for independent agents to compete with the direct writers.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, and Geico does spend $1 billion, as people know who are listening, and $1 billion kind of gets your attention. I always used to say, well, how often should you touch I mean, say let your customers see you and everything else, and we kind of said that boy, some agencies are doing it once a week. I think I talk to some people in advertising. They think that Geico hits the average American more than 1,000 times a year.
I believe it.
I believe it too. You can't
I
turn it.
believe it. Yeah.
And then there's Flo, Flo. She's taking more and more. She's getting more and more jobs. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's pretty darn effective, and we all admit it. So
Sure.
that's the old type. Look how we did it the old way before. All right, let's move
Yeah.
forward. The traditional.
Right. Everyone knows that the traditional ways that you think of a small town insurance agency would advertise. Of course, telephone books, I don't know if anybody ever uses those anymore, but that used to be a must to be listed in the yellow pages.
Absolutely.
Of course, there's newspaper. I don't know if this is all over the country, but around here, when you go into restaurants, they'll either have advertising on their menus or maybe underneath the glass on the table.
Well, I don't see that very
Direct,
often around here in
yeah, we
Central.
still see some of that. So
Yeah,
direct mail,
of course. Yeah,
don't you just love that, all that junk
yeah.
mail?
Oh, God.
People still do it. I don't know.
I
I
know it.
don't know if it works, but people
It
still.
must do it. It must work. I guess. Yeah. At any rate, I'm not doing
Yeah.
this. Go ahead. School
And then of
programs.
course, yeah, your school, the graduation, the football
Yeah, I know.
programs, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which that there's still some need for some of that stuff, but they can get expensive.
I know,
Especially, in larger areas. I'm sure it's even more expensive than it is here.
I can imagine. I mean, I don't see how you compete with that. But, they used to have a saying, I mean, not a saying, used to say that you could brand of something like Coca-Cola or, all that for, it would cost you $10 million. And now they say to brand something would cost you $1 billion. Well,
Yeah,
obviously we can't do anything like that. But so you have to brand in Graham, I guess.
absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
How do you do it?
Well, and you talk about our brand, and that's something very special and important to us here, that how we're perceived, and we want to be professional, we want to be approachable, and our agency has been in business since 1921. It's, one of those things everyone here knows everyone, and it's important for us that all of our communication, whether it's advertising, whether it's a letter, anything that a proposal, anything that we do, that we are consistent with our brand. And some of the things that we have done, which are very, very cost effective, and some of them completely free. We do a quarterly newsletter. We have a personal lines and a commercial lines newsletter that we send out quarterly. We occasionally, one of us will write a blog that we then share on our webpage as well as our social media.
Right.
Of course, we're on all the social media, Twitter, YouTube, Vine, LinkedIn, Facebook. And then because we are a small town, radio has been a very good way for us to advertise, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, but very inexpensive, and the word gets out because some creative things that we've done there. And then it's very important because our agency does care about our community, and it's not just something that we say and do so people will think good of us. We really do. And so allowing our employees to volunteer and work in different nonprofit things in the community is something else we do. And again, all of those things are very inexpensive, and some of them are free.
I know it. It's amazing that you can do all that. Well, let's talk about it. Show us some of these things that you do, will you?
Okay.
Right.
Here are some examples of some email blasts. A lot of times if we have something in particular that we feel like is important to our clients, one thing that's been important with the declining oil and gas industry, and we write a lot of that we felt like, here's one of the examples here, that we felt like we needed them to understand, our commercial clients to understand how bonuses that they may pay are calculated into the payroll for the workers' comp. So that was an example. But we through agencies online who make some very professional and very interesting to look at, we will request these email blasts on particular items that come up that we think are important for our clients to know. And
then we write them for you. Do we mail them for you?
Yeah, absolutely. We just send we send our contact what we want to say. They send us back a sample. We approve it. They send it out for us.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Yeah,
and it's very effective.
Yeah, it really is amazing. Yeah, I think I know we use Constant Contact, and it really does work. I had never thought. I really realizing you're in Texas, and obviously, right, oil people. Have you felt this thing financially all that long?
Well, we've been through it before. So there are a lot of, obviously, the lower price of oil affects everybody in our area, whether you're directly involved or indirectly. But what we're seeing is a lot of our clients hunkering down. Most of them have been through it before. And so, yeah, we have experienced some of it, which is why it's always important to diversify. But we're here for our oil and gas clients, and we see them through. And like I said, we've been through it before. We know how it is, things that happen overnight. But
I was just thinking about that.
You have to be very proactive. We have to contact them and discuss, because obviously with the declining price of oil, then there's also other agents who would like to take our business. So we're proactive in contacting them, and we've used some of these email blasts to do that about, your payroll that you estimated 6 months ago, do you need to lower that, that kind of thing, because they're thinking about it. So we want to think about it first and be proactive.
I see. Now let me ask one little question before we go to the next one. Roughly how often would you do an email blast? And you're doing it to all of your clients, I take it.
Yes, we have. Well, we have a list of personal personal lines and commercial lines.
Right.
And I don't know if I could tell you exactly. It depends
Oh,
on when issues come up.
I got you.
You know,
3 or 4
so
times a year maybe, or something like that?
oh, at least, yes, at least 3 or 4 times a year. We do a holiday one, of course,
Yeah,
Thanksgiving one, you know, the major holidays we do. But then we use these for new information that's we
I
think will
got
be
you.
beneficial.
All right, let's talk about your newsletter, the client newsletter. I know a lot about
Sure,
it.
yeah.
I wrote it
These
for many, many years, but lately I've stepped back and let some really good writers do it. Yeah.
yeah, these are great. These newsletters are quarterly, and again, Agencies Online does these. Just today, we had one of our major commercial lines, one of our largest accounts, received the newsletter, and it has a little bit of a new format now. The
Yeah.
commercial, she received the commercial and wrote back and said, "This is great," you know. And I mean, they're reading them because they're interesting, easy to read, lots of pictures and things to catch the eye.
Yeah, this is ironically that we're recording this in late January, and this is the day that we have just changed. We used to be monthly, and I think a lot of agents listening to this right now are still sending out monthly newsletters, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you do it and you keep yourself in front of them, that's a good thing. We kind of went to, I probably so many newsletters over the years, thousands and thousands, and we kind of eased into this quarterly thing, but this new look on it here, yeah, go to the next slide. I'll show you what it looks like. Or
Yeah,
we
this
can
is
show
the
you. Yeah.
commercial one.
All right. This comes from you now to
Right.
with the.
See, there's our logo on it at the bottom there.
Yeah.
And then
go ahead.
Here's the table of contents.
Okay. Now this is brand new, but I mean it's new because it's. First of all, I think we made it full screen. We hadn't done that before. These things are all kind of hard to read on the thing if they're not full screen. I like this table of contents thing. It works neat. We had never done that, I don't think, before.
Right, and as you see, the pictures are interesting. They draw your eye, you know, to them.
Yeah.
And then there's one of the articles.
Road rage. Yeah.
Thinking I might need to send that one to my husband. Just kidding.
I'm not going to say anything.
Just kidding.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. But I think this is.
And then here's the information about a smart home.
Good.
See, it's the current content, some things that are new and that are going on.
Yeah, well, I love it. I think they're doing a wonderful job on this. I have to tell you, truthfully, this is the first time I've read it. So
well, this one went out today. We sent this out today.
Well, I get copies.
Like I said, we already
agents. I'm on a lot of agents' lists, and so I probably have 50 copies of this by tomorrow. But
right.
Yeah, that's good starting your business. Well, you know, it's just not boring stuff on insurance.
No, not at all.
I like that. I like that concept of it. Okay, well, I don't want to. It sounds like I've got a commercial here. I don't want to do that. But go ahead.
No, it's very effective. Like I said, we already heard back. It went out this morning. Already heard back from one of our largest accounts. They love the new format. We didn't solicit that. She just wrote back and said that. So.
All right, tell me about your social networking a little bit.
Okay, well, of course, Facebook is huge. You know, I remember when it first came out, my son was in college and he was the only one that could get it. And I thought, well, how am I going to spy on him now? Because, you know, how it started was for education, for colleges only. And, of course, now I think everybody and their grandmother's on Facebook. So we found this very effective. And we include, you know, some of the things that Agencies Online have, you know, some of the things we'll put it on here, and then our employees share it too, and we try to, you know, add people to get them to like our page. This is absolutely free, and we get really good results. Lots of people that click on and read these things.
You said your employees share it. Do each of your employees send it out to their friends on Facebook?
If they want to, yeah, and most of us do. And, you know, all of our employees. We don't make anybody do it, but we're a big family here, and we all want the agency to be successful. And so, you know, our employees who have Facebook, they like the page, and so whenever they see that we've put something out, then they'll share it among their friends too. So it kind of spreads the word even further out.
Good. All right.
So yeah.
Let's go forward.
So there's our staff there in the picture. But we also, I don't have slides about it, but we use Twitter, and we have a YouTube channel for our radio recording, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
All right.
And we have Twitter, but Facebook seems to be the one for some reason that we get more hits on than anything as far as right now.
Got it. Okay. I'm learning.
And then our website.
Yeah, I know about that website, but
Yep. This is our website, and it's very great that we can direct our clients to it, and we, again, with that consistent message, we include down there on the recent updates most of these things that we've talked about. We'll put it on there as well. And then this is where our clients are directed if they want to log into their portal where they can see their policy, get their information, they can click on that. But then there's also some fun things, fun pictures. The pictures change up, and all kinds of things to get people to click around there.
How do you like, I see you like live, you got live chat, obviously a lot of our, almost all of our agencies do. How do you like it?
Yeah.
Do you use it?
Well, it's funny, we don't have a lot of people that take advantage of it, but
I've heard that, and yet if one does, I guess it pays for the...
Absolutely right.
Yeah. What's that?
That's the thing is you have to make sure that you're communicating with your clients the way they want you to, so you have to be very flexible.
Well, that's true. And you got the best practices. I see you got the best practices award.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, we're very proud of that.
You are there. All right. And I see you use 24/7 too up there from I guess that's applied now, isn't it?
Yes, that's our the portal that is applied, calls it CSR 24, but it's the able agents can brand it to their own, and so we call it the 24/7 portal, which is nice to offer. That's another thing that we can compete with the direct writers just because they have their great, and we have a mobile app as well, which we don't have that on here either. But so you can go on Geico.com or you can go on our agency website the same way and do the same things.
Good. All right.
So then we do still sponsor, especially local events. Our employees are all active in the community, and we sponsor various things throughout the year so that we show our clients and our business partners that we're part of the community. So that's still part of our advertising budget as well.
I think it's great. What's that bear crawl?
There's a little boy who actually, how it is, a small town. His daddy graduated from high school with my oldest son, and they're family friends of ours. But he was born with some pretty severe disabilities. He's blind and has several different disabilities, and his nickname, his family calls him Hayes Bear, so they had this to raise money for other kids that have this.
Okay.
Yeah. We had this year, we had the first annual food truck championship here in downtown Graham, and that's what that upper left-hand picture is, and we sponsored that, and that was wildly popular. So,
wow. Yeah, they are, aren't they? They're great.
Yeah. You just never know what's going to bring people out, and that definitely did.
That did. Well, good. All right.
Now, and this is, you were talking about personal advertising. Well, here on this picture here, the man on the right happens to be my husband, who is the radio DJ in Graham. But and then Joe Schweighofer on the left, he's the Bryan Insurance Guy, and we have every Wednesday morning, they do a interview where people can call in and ask their insurance questions. And what gave us the idea for this, I don't know about everybody, but my ears tune out commercials when I'm listening to the radio on the way in. And us being a small town, the radio is very important. That's where if there's any school changes, so a lot of people have that radio on in the morning on the drive to school. And there were a couple of other people in town that do interviews as they're advertising, and so it doesn't sound like an ad, so people's ears aren't, tuning those out. So that's what gave us the idea to do this. It's very cost effective. We get a lot of clients that say they came to us because they heard this, and then also our current clients, will mention it. So it's been really popular and really, really inexpensive.
How it's every Wednesday for how long?
Every Wednesday, it's about, it depends on what they talk about, but, between 8 to 15 minutes at the most. And then it's recorded, and we put it on our YouTube channel as well.
Oh, neat. Great idea. So, I love that idea.
And it's been very popular. So Joe and my husband are very into sports, and they kind of joke around and, just things. So everybody knows who they are, and they like to listen to them joke around. And
I listen to one of them.
They get serious for a little while,
I just learned something about insurance from it, too. But anyway, that's really a neat idea. I love that idea. It's
worked out really well. We were just going to try it and see, and it worked out really well.
Yeah.
Another thing with the radio that we're in north central Texas, which means in the spring we have a lot of heavy wind and hail. And so again, the radio had asked us if we wanted to be the bad weather sponsors, which means that during the March, April, and May months, we have advertisements that run through the day, but then anytime that they have bad weather approaching and they make special announcements, they give a plug for Bryan Insurance, and they even say, if you need to get a hold of your agent and you're with Bryan Insurance, call the radio station. This is, of course, if it's in the evening or weekend. Well, our clients know how to reach us. They don't need the radio to tell them, but that's telling other people who are not our clients that we're there for them. But the first year that we did this, we did not anticipate the horrible fires at Possum Kingdom Lake. And that was included in that coverage, and it was a horrible thing that happened, but we just got amazing coverage there, and we were really glad to be able to sponsor to get the word out to people that their homes were in danger, but even more important that they could be in danger and to stay out of the area and that kind of thing. So that's something that we do every year, and again, that's localized because of our area and that we do have the spring weather issues, but that's been really good for us too.
Sonya, what do they do then? They do your thing automatically, then they just bill you. You don't have a actual buying this, they bill you for the time that you put it on the thing, as opposed to having a money up there sitting there waiting to be used by them, or how's that work?
Right, yeah, they just every year, we go over it with them and they agree to it and they just bill us for it.
Well, yeah, I mean by the time they use it, how often they use it, they bill you for it.
Oh, well, no, it's just one set fee and one set amount, but
okay, I got it.
You can't anticipate how many storms we're going to have, but we usually have several in the listening area of the radio station every year.
I got it. Okay, thank you.
Hopefully we don't have wildfires every year. That was a horrible thing, but like I said, it turned out to be really valuable, and that's where a lot of people were going for their information.
All right.
So we were glad to be there for it.
Love it. All right.
And then
you have Bryan Cares. That's a thing.
Yeah.
I like that one. This is great.
The agency's always encouraged employees to donate, to spend time in events, and sometimes we're able to do things as a group. For example, when the horrible fires were here and they had various groups that were feeding the firefighters, and we did that together. But in addition to that, we have a formal program where every employee receives one paid day per quarter where they can volunteer for to a group of their choice.
That's beautiful.
So it's just been wonderful. One year, our local food pantry was having a canned food drive, and our employees decided we were going to, I don't remember the number of cans that we said we were going to get, but that's, we do something a little bit different every year. But then we also have individuals that work on, specific things that are important to them. And then, we do share that on all of our social media, website, but the reason behind it is because that is one of our core values, is we care about our community and that we want our employees to be able to spend time doing those things.
Well, that's a beautiful thing, and all this time, if you come to some conclusions about advertising, how you can really make it work, and what are your thoughts here?
Well, the first thing I think is important is to define your message. What message do you want to send out? I mean, I know our agency doesn't want to be the funny, I don't know who to pick on, Geico flow. That's not us. We don't want to gimmick. We have a message and that we want to portray, and then we want to make sure that message is consistent with everything we do, not just advertising, but on our proposals, our everything, that message is consistent. And then use more cost-effective ways, like some of the ones that are free or some that are less expensive to get that message across. And then it's important to have a schedule, because you don't want to just do this stuff when you remember to do it, because we all get so busy and we won't remember. So you need a schedule to send this information out, and also make sure that your message stays fresh.
Do you have one person there in the agency whose responsibility is to make sure this all keeps happening?
We do, and then we have a couple of other people that work on the team with them, but we have one individual who has a schedule that makes sure that things go out at the right time.
I got you.
And
You
Of
define
course,
your
the first thing
message.
we did is we defined our message,
Yeah.
and that's what this is right here is our message that we feel is very important, and it starts with the owner of the agency all the way, to everybody involved. And I mentioned the word family. We really do work together as a family, and this is, we all enjoy working here. We enjoy, but a lot of it is because we know what the core values are of the agency, and we all agree with them. So, and this slide is actually the message that we wrote down that we wanted to portray in our advertising.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That most people never really come to grips with something like this, and you've got it written down, and everybody understands it. I take it, I'm sure.
Yes, yes.
I love it. You care.
So
That's the last one. You care, and I guess,
we do.
and that's what's coming across. Came across from
Yeah, we do care.
what you said, and I believe you said. Well, I tell you, it's just been you you did exactly what I wanted you to do, and I hoped you would do, and that is bring us down to the realities of local agencies. And I mean, yeah, we've got a lot of big agencies with umpteen million,
Right.
but honest to goodness, it comes right down to this page right here. Really care, knowing what we care, understanding, getting that words across, and never stopping it. Boy, oh boy, you guys have done it. Well, listen, let me ask
Well,
you, thank you, dear. I really appreciate
sure,
this. You've always been
sure.
so helpful, and you got your name. Can they call you if they have any questions?
I would love that. Yes. Call me, email me. I would love that.
Well, I appreciate that, and I know, and I work with a number of your people, Denny Bryan and Tommy Dees and Joe and all these guys that and they are just so cooperative. I can't believe it. I wish we had at agencies online. I wish we had about 10,000 like you that I could
We
retire.
have an incredible team. We really do. We
We
have a
really,
great team
well,
here.
it's been a pleasure to work for you over these years, and we're going to continue it. And I guess
Yes.
having said that, I want to thank you again. And I know I wish you good luck, and I don't know how much better luck you can have. You're doing about as well as a local agency can do, and you're going to be around a long, long time. So, Sonya, thank you. Sonya, thank you very much for everything.
Thank you, George, and we appreciate you and everything you and Agencies Online do for our agency.
I love that. I'll tell everybody else I'm going to see you next Monday morning.